to Buckets, brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. My name is Matt Moore. I'm a senior NBA writer for the Action Network. I'm joined by Jay Money. Find him on Twitter and on his YouTube channel at JMoneyIsMoney. I'm also joined by Sean Little at Chicago Flow. He's a very busy man because the New York Knicks refuse to die. We're going to do best bets for Saturday, May 11th in the association. Glad to have you guys with us. Please, if you haven't, download the Action Network app. I have a banger of a column. I don't usually say that, but I have a banger of a column called "The Suns Fired Frank Vogel to Make Themselves Feel Better," and it's accurate. Like it's a joke, and so you can check that out. We've got best bets. I've got breakdowns on the Friday games. I'm going to have breakdowns on the Saturday games, X's and O's, matchups, trends, all sorts of stuff. As well, you check out youtube.com/The Action Network. We've got Action Island going on. We've got Nothing But Bet going on. Sunday after Mavs Clippers. Check out Buckets Live on Sunday after Knicks Pacers. That's what you should check out. After Knicks Pacers, check out Buckets Live. All right, let's get to it. Sean Little, what's your best bets for Saturday in the NBA playoffs?
Yeah, I'm going Boston Celtics team total over 109.5. Game 3, Cleveland Cavaliers.
All right, Jay Money, what's your best bets?
I'm on Boston Celtics team total over 109.5 in the bounce back J spot.
Look at you guys. Look at you. Lockstep. Gonna be a quick episode today. I'm gonna be on OKC +3 on the money line actually versus the Dallas Mavericks in Game 3. I will probably bet Boston. I don't think I'm gonna do the team total play because I'm not a coward. I'll probably lay the points, but we'll get into it. Let's see. Jay was first on this. He was the first one to get in his pick to me. So Jay gets to go first on giving the cap, and then Sean just gets to go like, yeah, what he said. Jay, what's your cap for why you want the Celtics team total over in Game 3 after the Boston Celtics once again pissed down their leg in a Game 2, losing the Cavaliers on Thursday night? Why do you like the Celtics team total over?
Yeah, it's almost a carbon copy of what they did versus the Miami Heat, right? They won Game 1 in absolute blowout fashion, then they lost Game 2. Then what do they do in Game 3? They go to Miami and smack them up. I know they only scored 104 points in that game, but I don't trust the Cavs defense as much as I did the Heat defense. Obviously, the Cavs are doing it. They have a lot better offense. That's why they're able to stay into this game with the Celtics, why they were able to win Game 2. But we know with just Mobley down there, I'm not trusting their rim protection. I think the Celtics, they know what they have to do. Like sometimes they just kind of play with their food. They know what they have to do. They have to drive into the paint, man. And they shot horribly from 3 as well. We know when the Celtics are not shooting great from 3, they're susceptible to those type of losses and knowing. So they're going to go back and look at the film. They know what they have to do. They know that they're the better team. You'll see them come out very motivated with desperation as well. I see them coming out early and often. They might put up 70 points in the first half versus this Cavs team, man. So Cavs probably a little bit fat and happy as well. Like I said, a couple of quick fouls on Evan Mobley, and this one's they're gonna fly over their team total. So I see the Celtics putting up at least 120 points versus Cavs in this one, and I actually think the full game goes over as well. What have we seen in both games? There's been a blitz pace, right? These two teams are getting up and down the floor. The Celtics just couldn't make shots in Game 2, and then in Game 1, the Cavs couldn't make shots. So I think the Celtics go over their team total, and I actually think we get the first game that goes over the total as well. So I'll rock, but I do trust the Celtics more, and I do think they clamp down here defensively. So give me Celtics team total over 109.5.
Okay, so wait, you're going to say they're going to score over 109.5, they're going to score 120, and you think they're going to clamp down defensively. Why aren't you laying the 8?
Well, 120 to 100 gets us over the total, but I'll go with the team total over in this one, Matt, just in case they mess around. Like I say, the Cavs, if these guys make shots, Matt, they can match up well with the Celtics. You see what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics messed around, won by 5, 6, or 7. This is something my guy taught me, just going with the team that I feel like is going to have success in this game, just going with their team total over. I do think that they cover the spread as well, but I feel a lot more comfortable taking a team total.
So most of the team totals are minus 115. Like that's usually where they're at, is minus 115. So you're paying the extra nickel here just to be able to stay off of that, even though you're saying that the Celtics are going to put up 120 and are going to clamp down. You're going to give up that 5 cents?
Yep.
Okay. Sean, give me your cap for team total over.
Yeah, I agree. I feel him. I like the full game over to 11.5. That was actually my initial thought, right? Like, Cleveland showed that, I guess they do have a little bit of help with Garland, Mobley, and the rest of the guys. But Donovan Mitchell seems to be unstoppable at the moment. It seems to be locked in. I think the big part of me and not believing in Cleveland overall was I underestimated how much Donovan Mitchell cared, to be completely honest. I didn't think he would be as interested when things got really difficult to go out there and bust people's heads for the Cleveland Cavaliers organization. I don't think his stock has gone down across the league, but I just think he's in a very difficult spot where he knows he can't beat the Boston Celtics. So I'm going to I just didn't expect him to come out and try to will his way and drag the boys with him along the way. So I'm impressed, and I got a lot of respect for what Donovan Mitchell is out here trying to do and not just waiting till the season's over to get out of town and start his new chapter. Overall, I agree with Jay that I just trust Boston to show up here in this spot offensively. And if they don't, if they want to mess around and let Cleveland hang around, I think that plays into the team total. That's why I'm leaning that way. I mean, this is the same story we have about the Boston Celtics. When we start laying double digits and 8.5 on the road, it gets really spooky, especially when our superstar, quote unquote, Jason Tatum, is lollygagging and going to the post-game presser and talking about what do you guys want from us? We only have one of the best teams ever put together offensively in NBA history. What do you guys want? You guys just want us to do that all the time? I mean, yes, you have been doing that all the time. You've been doing that all season. But now when things get, I guess, rough and you lose a playoff game, I think overall what he's saying is that people are overreacting. And I do think that's the case because we just saw this with Miami. People were talking about, could this happen again? No, it can't happen again. It's not going to happen again. The only reason I'm not laying the 8.5 is because I do think Boston is susceptible to messing around. But if this does stay competitive, I still like that over 109.5 on the team total side. That's why I got to back Boston here. I like the over 211.5 on the total, but I like the team total for Boston more because if that goes over, then the over in the full game has a real chance to touch it.
You both are laying an extra nickel here because you're scared.
No, you can you can get minus 110. You just got to shop around. But I want to say something here. Without Porzingis and them starting Horford, they're a lot worse defensively, especially at defending the rim. Me personally, I would like for them to. I think this is why you got Xavier Tillman. I know that he's not a huge 3-point shooter, and Horford helps them stretch the floor, but they're a lot better defensively starting Tillman at the 5, and they can bring Horford's old ass off of the bench here. And with targeting the team total, they could even lose the game, and you still get your win there. So you're not caring about them covering late free throws, having to be up by 10 and messing around. They could even lose the game, and as long as they're having a great game offensively, when you're targeting that team total, that's all you care about here. So, I'm comfortable with the team total over for the Celtics in this particular game.
Okay, so in the last two playoffs, when the Celtics go over their team total, they are 9-4 straight up, 69%, 9-4 ATS at 69%. I just feel like if you're going to do this, like you should just be laying the points with Boston. Like they're going to, there's a lot. And I'll also say this, like the Cavaliers defense is better than their offense. Like it just is. And the other thing here is the Celtics are entirely shot dependent. Like if they hit their threes, they win the game and everything's great. And Joe Mazzulla ball, yay, yay, yay. If they don't, it's like, oh shit, the Celtics are frauds. And so I have a hard time imagining a scenario where the Celtics go over their team total and the Celtics lose the game. I have a hard time imagining a situation in which the Celtics win the game and don't cover because their offense feeds their defense, et cetera, and gets them out of cross matches and things like that. Cleveland found some stuff in terms of the cross matches that they used and some of the switches and the way that they use kind of a hybrid zone to be able to guard, and their rotations were really on point. And part of this is just like Boston is just like, I'm just continuing to be they have the number one offense. Everything's impressive on paper, but I watch them and I'm just like, this is just like contested ISO shooting. And I don't understand how this is going to be sustainable over the long term, but hey, it's gotten to this point. We'll see kind of what happens. One final thing on this game. I don't want the Cavs. I'll make that clear. Teams that lost game 2 at home and are on the road as a favorite, which the Celtics are, they're a big favorite in this game. Only 13 instances since 2003, small sample. But they're 5-8 ATS, and they're only 7-6 straight up after losing game 2. This is also the most that a team actually going to an opponent home court opponent's floor has been favored by in this spot. The only other team in this spot that was favored by more was the Clippers in 2020 in the bubble, which was obviously neutral court. So this is like the most that a team has laid after losing game 2 past the first round. I find that very interesting.
It had to be pretty close on game 3 in Miami, though, no? It had to be right around the same number, if I remember.
Yeah, they laid 9.5.
Yeah, I want to say it was double digits against Miami.
I've got it at 4.5 in the market right here.
No, they laid 9.5. Yeah. They laid 9.5 in Miami, game 3.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys? So this is what I argue with Brandon. Do you guys think that this Cleveland team is worse, better, or equal to that Heat team? Because you're using this comparison a lot, and I'm like, I don't know. I kind of think the Cavaliers are better than the Heat without Jimmy Butler. Just spitballing. That's kind of what I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think Cleveland is a lot better than Miami without Jimmy Butler on the floor. There's no doubt about that. That's also why I'm a little scared to lay the 8.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, that's why I'm targeting the team total. That's why I'm staying off of that number. And I think I'm never worried about – my thing about Boston is I'm not worried about them trying to rise to the occasion offensively and compete basket for basket when games get tight. I'm just worried about the efficiency and how they're going to close the game in the last 2.5 minutes. Not even the last 5 full. Like half of crunch time is when I really get spooky about them. So
and then that's when their offense dies, which could hurt your team total over.
No question. But I think I don't have the numbers in front of me, but for me watching the Celtics all year, or we can go back a couple years in playoff type of situations, the offense tends to die very late, not 4 or 5 minutes left in the game. We're talking about last 4 or 5 possessions. I mean, we could do a lot of different things, talk about Tatum, because his whole fourth quarters tend to be wishy-washy. But overall, that's where I'm confident on Boston is they will keep up if it starts to get a little competitive. I don't know who closes and how they close the last couple minutes, but that's why I'm backing the team total and not laying the number.
Oh, yeah, I get it. I just wanted the discussion on it. It's a good cap.
Sure.
I just wanted the discussion on it because I think it's an interesting kind of comment. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Thunder +3 in game 3 here. This is a 1 seed that's on the road and is a dog to a Mavericks team. PJ Washington shot 7 of 10. Like, what do you want? What do you want from OKC? PJ Washington shot 7 of 10 from 3-point range. We talked about this being a shot variant series. When Brandon and I did the preview, that was our big thing. Is like, this is a shot variant series. And so there's going to be nights when you're going to, like, I laid the points with the Thunder. Now I came back on Mavericks when the Thunder took a small lead in the second quarter. I went back in on Mavericks to go ahead and hedge out a little bit because I saw that I was like, man, I don't know, like Mavericks are hitting shots tonight. I don't need to be tied to this -3.5. However, here's a trend for you. Teams that lost game 2 and are dogs on the road and they lost as a favorite and are on the road as a dog in game 3 past round 1. 13-12 straight up on the road as a dog. 17-8 ATS at 68%. So for me, okay, you got a trend, cool. What's the logic? It's pretty basic here. They were the better team by the market standard in game 2. They were favored. They lost a game. Now they're on the road facing a situation where they're going to go down 2-1. But they're the better team. Like the Thunder are the better team. And I'm not going to get tied to, I know, Jay, you're very high on this Mavericks team for some reason.
It's not that I'm high on the Mavs. The Thunder are not a regular 1 seed. They got 1 seed. They played a great regular season. Woohoo! It doesn't matter in the playoffs. The trends, that doesn't matter.
They won 57
That's good.
And swept the
They
first
play
round.
harder. They play harder than other teams in the regular season. That's cool. I think in this game 3, it's really simple. You take whoever you think is going to win the series. If you think the Thunder is going to win the series, you have to take them in this game 3. This is a pivotal game 3. If you think the Mavs are going to win this series and you think they're a better team, you think they have the size advantage, I think it's Mavs or nothing for them here.
They haven't shown that size advantage one time.
Lively and Gafford have smashed the Thunder. Both
Lively's gotten run off the floor, my dude. Lively's plus minus is like -40. Gaff's been fine. They're winning this game because PJ Washington's hitting threes, my man. That's the only reason they're hanging.
Tim Hardaway Jr. Scores a huge 17 off the bench as well. That's huge.
You would rely on Tim Hardaway Jr., my dude?
I'm just saying it wasn't PJ Washington. It wasn't just PJ Washington over there. This game will go off of who's getting the calls. You see game one, the Thunder get 22 foul calls, 22 free throws in the first half. The Mavs have no chance when SGA are getting those touchy foul calls. Then you see game two, they're not giving them all those little BS foul calls. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing with Brunson over there as well. When you're not even allowed to defend these guys and play actual defense like they've been doing in the playoffs, you have no chance. When the refs call it an even game, you see who the better team wins. So Mavs game two was not an anomaly. I think they're the better team. The Thunder have a great team. They have a great bench as well. But I think the Mavs are a better team, and I would not be fading them in game three.
You were getting confirmation bias out the ass right now because you were like, the Mavericks are the better team. And then they get some lucky shot variance from Tim Hardaway. That's your response?
First it was PJ Washington. Now it's Tim Hardaway Jr.
It's both of them. They got outlier performances. They got 29 from PJ and 17 from THJ, who's largely been unplayable in the series.
Like 29 from Luka.
We got to look.
And Luka played a good game.
Yeah, now that's important. That's important, right? Is like Luka played a good game. Like,
Kyrie didn't play a good game. Kyrie hadn't showed up so far. What happens when he shows up?
I mean, I don't know if he's gonna show up, man.
Just saying.
He might decide to go off and do peyote in a heat map. Like I don't know.
Look, listen. If Dallas is gonna get 12 threes from Josh Green, Tim Hardaway Jr., and PJ Washington, they're gonna win the title. Okay, so like there's a lot of shot variance.
It's fine. That can happen, and Jay can look right, but he won't be right.
Yeah,
because this is just how this goes. It's like shot variance. We said the series was shot variance, right? That was what Brandon and I really harped on. Yeah. And so that's what makes it tough to bet on, because Jay's absolutely right that like the outliers, because I do kind of stress this after what happened with Fred VanVleet in 2019, the Heat last year when they shot 45% versus the Bucks and 42% versus the Celtics. That's sports, man. Like some nights, like some series, guys just hit shots and that's what happens. But like as a bettor, you need to be basing it off of like the most likely outcomes based off of what these teams actually are. And like the Mavs in reality are a mediocre offense and an okay defense. That's who they are. They just can find ways to get past. Now they could do that in the series. They can do that all the way to not to the title. I don't think they can beat 3 teams that way, but 4 really. But I do think that it's an interesting spot. I do agree with Jay from the perspective. I don't know, though. I'll say this. I don't necessarily agree with the idea of like whoever wins game 3 wins the series. Because I could see Dallas winning game 3, Thunder winning game 4 and a bounce back, and then we're right back to a 2-3. Like it's so shot variance, Jay. Like you could be right that the Mavericks are absolutely the best team, and then Luka's knee could just hobble him, and he just misses a bunch of those terrible, terrible, terrible step back threes he takes. Like he's so reliant on terrible shots that I think it largely is like, I don't know that this game decides the series, but it does kind of come down to like a feel for you based off of like, who do you think is going to, like, I can't do X's and O's analysis on this because it literally is shot variance.
The last thing I want to say, we can't argue the fact that like, obviously PJ Washington getting PJ Washington and Gafford like really set them up to win this type of series. PJ Washington, huge size advantage. Gafford, huge size. I'm just telling you this, man. Gafford, PJ Washington, and Lively have a huge size advantage over a small Thunder team. These are just the facts. Facts.
No, hang on. If that was what was happening, I'd agree with you. If PJ Washington was hitting hook shots or offensive rebounds, I'd believe in you. But he scored 29 on 7 to 10 shooting from 3 for a 32% 3-point shooter.
What happened when he gets into the paint? And they're getting lob dunks every single time? Come on, man. These guys have the size advantage. It's a fact, bro. It's the fact. It's their major advantage versus the Thunder. Thunder have the better bench. Mavs have the size advantage. It is what it is.
PJ hit 11 shots. 7 of them were from 3. What are you talking about with the paint? Points in the paint, my man. 54-54 OKC.
We'll see, Matt. I got Mavs winning this series.
Respond.
Mavs winning this series.
I want you to respond because you said they're killing them on the inside. I just gave you 54-44 points in the paint. What's your response?
So what was it in game 1?
It was
the Thunder blew them out.
I'm pretty sure it's OKC again.
And what happens when the Thunder don't get 54 points in the paint? It really doesn't matter because, I mean, the Mavs won game 2 on their home floor. You see what I'm saying?
A lot of that's SGA. SGA lives in the paint. He kills everybody in the paint. So, I mean, I think these teams are very, very close to one another. They play a little bit of different styles, but if Luka's going to get that support, that's what we've always said about Luka. If Luka could get some support,
I
then,
haven't. I've said
okay.
he needs to play better. So
Oh,
I
okay.
actually put the
Well,
onus on him.
yeah. Well, I think. Well, listen. I think Matt. A lot of that comes from Luka and it mentally thinking, I don't have anybody that can fucking help me. I'm gonna have to go out here and do this shit all by myself.
Hasn't
Now
worked
it
out
looks
great
like,
for him.
but it looks like he's willing to delegate now. Here you go, PJ. Here you go. Knock these down, and then I got a guy in Kyrie that can help. I think
The
a
last
big
thing I'll
part
say
of
on
that.
that. Last thing. Hang on, wait, real quick. I got a prop I want to get out there. I played Josh Green over threes in game 1. You should go back to the well on that because a lot of what these are creating, to Jay's credit, if he was just to switch up and not say it's the paint, because that's got nothing to do with this. They are overloading on the strong side. That's what the Thunder are doing. Is they're basically being like, no, Luka, like you're not getting in the paint. We're not letting you in. We're not doing it. We're going to overload strong side. And the Mavs are reversed into the weak side, and they're finding all those corner threes. Like PJ is a terrible corner 3 shooter. He shot 22% on the season. He's hitting like 60% in the playoffs on them. And that's where he's getting a lot of those shots. Likewise, Josh Green hit 2 of those. Josh Green's or point total was 5.5 yesterday. That was 2 threes. We got there in the first half. So I do think Josh Green on that lower total, don't go PJ because that's not sustainable. Find the guys on the Mavs that are going to be on the other corner and play those team total 3 or those 3-point total overs or point total overs, because that's a real opportunity they can get versus the scheme. Now, I don't know if OKC switches that up, right? If they like, look, let's live a little bit more with Luka scoring because we can't allow all these open threes. That's an adjustment. I just don't know if Dags is going to make it, Sean.
Size advantage also matters with the rebounding, Matt. It's not just scoring in the paint. It's rebounding, it's catching lobs, it's all it. The Mavs have taller guys. It's a fact. Look it up. That's all I'm saying.
All right. That'll do it for today on Buckets. We will be back on Sunday night. We'll get you Buckets live after the Knicks game. We'll get you caught up on previewing that night's games. We'll talk all of the series, all that kind of stuff. Check it out on Buckets Live. See you then. My thanks to David Payne, our producer, as well as Hutton Jackson, the crew, getting this up on youtube.com/The Action Network. We'll see you guys again next week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games. Till then, let's get buckets.